Hey guys, official racing lawnmower update number 2. You can see behind me the racing lawnmower engine that I received from Truckin' 93. We've actually now got a new pole cover shroud for it, so I can get that put back together and finally run that thing for the first time. Look for that in my next video. I don't have oil and gas to get her kicked over right now, but I will soon. Also went ahead and bought myself a new to me Delta miter saw. I got this for 35 bucks out of Craigslist, and you can see right there it's a Delta. 10-inch saw. It does adjustable angles, 45 degrees left and right, and this thing can actually tip that way as well, 45 degrees, so you can do double bevel edges, I guess. Reason I bought this was because I needed to get really precise cuts for the front axle on my racing mower. I had to do a 3-degree angle on each end so I could get a little bit of camber with my front wheels for handling and steering characteristics. I also went ahead and bought myself another one of these 4.5-inch paint and rust removers for my grinder. I was very pleased with that last one, and so I just went out and bought another one for another 10 bucks. Totally worth it. That'll enable me to do the hood and this seat pan. Something I want to ask you guys, and I really want you to give me your opinion on this. You can see this seat support right here. The flat steel. This piece has got a chunk removed, and as far as I'm going with this thing, it's going to be perfect, and I really don't like this chunk of steel missing. So I got two options here. A, have to have this remanufactured by a machine shop with just flat steel and not worry about getting this hole drilled and that little hole right over there. I don't really need that, and actually I can probably forego getting these drilled and just drill new ones myself. But I could probably get this remanufactured really cheap and have it look pretty much original. And then there's option B. I can completely rebuild this seat upright support and build a completely custom one using this 3/4 inch or 1-inch box steel that I got. I have plenty of it, and I could build something pretty cool out of it, and it would be pretty precise considering I've got that new chop saw. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Leave some feedback. There's 2 comments below that I've left, and one will say rebuild a new seat upright support using box steel or have it professionally rebuilt with new flat steel. And what I'd like you guys to do is vote for either comment, and that way I can figure out what you guys want me to do, if you guys want me to replace it or if you want me to build a custom one. But I'm leaving it up to you, so let me know what you think. Vote for the comment, like it or whatever. Yeah, and that will help me out. So I know I haven't updated you guys in a while on this racing lawnmower, but I have been busy at work on it. You can see all these shiny grinding patches here on the sides, and that's because I filled in every little hole that was not going to be used by me. These holes aren't going to be used either, but they were kind of big and I didn't want to try to fill them in. And what I basically did was welded them and ground them flat. I did all the ones on the sides and all the ones on the top. Here's some video of what it used to look like. You can see all the holes in the sides, and I just didn't really like the way it looked, so I kind of wanted to redo all of it. But I also took the advice of a user named Luca464, and he said I should box in the bottom of this frame. Well, I kind of took it one step further. I boxed it, but what I did was I took 1-inch box steel and jammed it down inside this C-channel frame, and it just fit, and welded it in full-length pieces front to rear. And that made this whole frame a lot more rigid. So thanks to him for the comment. It really helped. This whole thing is still pretty lightweight, and now I think it'll be able to withstand some pretty heavy abuse. So the main project for today is trying to get this front end all in order. I got this new piece of 1-inch by 2-inch box steel, and as I showed you before, I cut it at a 3-degree angle on both sides to get the proper amount of camber on my front wheels. I got these mounts that need to go on either side, but first I want to explain to you the problem I was having with my brand new BMI spindles. And it's not any problem with the spindles, it's a problem with my particular build. The axle center line on the back here is going to be roughly, you know, an inch to 1.5 inches above this frame. So that means, you know, that's where the axle center is going to be, is right there. So the front end has to be similar because it's going to have only a 1-inch differential between the front and rear tires. The front tires will be an inch smaller. So what I had to do was cut these tie rod ends very carefully off of both spindles. You can see right there where it used to be. Same on this one. You can see my grinding marks. I had to hacksaw and grind the weld away to get these things dismounted. I flipped sides, so the left one is on the right one is on the left, and they're upside down to be mounted like this now. So as you can see, the tie rod end is at a much higher mounting point, and the wheel is within at least a half an inch to an inch of the center of the frame. And that'll enable me to basically get the forward rake that I want and still be able to attach my tie rods to my steering. So she's clamped on there, 3 sides. And you can see I got the center iron all lined up, and she's sitting pretty flush with everything. So we're gonna go ahead and weld her up. I'm gonna start with a series of tack welds all the way around to make sure she's welded nice and solid. So you can see I did 3 tack welds on the bottom, and there's 3 more on the top. And so I'm going to finish welding these all up on the sides, and I'm going to plug weld these little holes in the back so it's really solid and sturdy stuck to this frame. We're all done on the welding end of it. I decided to weld that top one all the way across. I didn't do the bottom, but the top I figured it would just look better if it was. It would stop water and junk from getting down in there, so I went ahead and did that. But now it's time for mounting some spindles. So we got those ends cleaned up, and I got these things all cleaned up and marked. You can see the level I'm going to mount them at is going to be similar to something like that. Not 100% even, but that's because, like I said before, I want my axle to be as high as possible in the front, so it's at least relatively on the same plane as that rear axle. So the right side's all welded on. Nice welds. This stuff is still really nice to weld, all this new steel. I'm loving it. Time to tack weld the second side. So that's 2. These welded up real nice. Some real nice beads on some of this metal. Did get some splatter on myself though. Burned a hole right in my arm. It's pretty sweet. So now you can see the 3 degrees of camber on each spindle there. That should really help in the corners with this thing, because it's going to be pretty high speed. So that's it for today, you guys. I'm going to keep plugging away on this thing in my spare time, doing what I can, and I'll give you guys another update as soon as I have something good to show you. I may end up redoing the steering support a little bit to kind of function as a hood support as well. The steering's going to remain generally the same, but I think the way it's actually supported, that little arch rod thing I had before, I might change that design a little bit, but everything else will stay pretty much the same, the quick release and everything. But yeah, next week's video, we're going to get the old racing mower engine going and test that out and see how that goes before we get her mounted on the frame there, because I'm going to have to remove the gas tank to get it snugged up against the steering. So look for that coming up. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video, you guys. Talk to you later.